Mortal Kombat, I see you mañana. Mortal Kombat, I see you mañana. Mortal Kombat, I see you mañana. Katana, 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 katana. Mortal Kombat, I see you mañana. Mortal Kombat, I see you mañana. Mortal Kombat, I see you mañana. Katana, 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 katana.
Hello, hello. Welcome everybody for the second community video stream, live stream. I'm here with our lead engineer, Will, and very excited to go through the V1 interface, this new app that we've basically been working on. The team has been grinding, and for Christmas, they said, you know what? We heard you want easy yield. So there you go. Santa came early on there. So real quick introduction. Will, go ahead and introduce yourself. Give us a little history of how much you want to give details about yourself, but go for it.
For sure. Before I do that, though, I need a copy of that intro sound clip, though. I'm just going to put it on repeat when I go to the gym.
Actually, that's funny because on the last community stream, Ritzy, actually one of the community members, like, hey, every time I hear Katana, I think of this one song, and she DM'd me. I was like, this is amazing. I got to steal this. So I did it. So we do listen to the community. If you DM us or there's something, like, I will try to implement it on the next video. So I cracked up when I heard him, like, Katana. I'm like, beautiful.
That was great. Yeah, cool. So I'm Will. I lead the engineering team at Katana. I've been here working for Katana since like May, I think, whenever we started getting ready for the pre-deposits campaign. Prior to that, I was with Polygon for 3 years, and I led the DevOps team over there. And then that was just the next stage in a long string of startups for about 3 decades. So yeah, I've just been doing startups the whole time, and have been really, really fortunate because building a career in startups it's probably one of the dumber things you can do with your life, but I somehow managed to be successful at it. So yeah, excited to be here with Katana now. And honestly, of all the startups I've done, like this is without a doubt the one I'm most excited to be a part of.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this last time when I was talking with the community leads of like the concept of Katana when I was talking to the team, and like when I was making demos, when I was working at API 3, doing stuff on Morpho and like creating all these demos. And I got approached by the Polygon DevRel and say, hey, you should definitely check out Katana. I was like, hey, this looks kind of interesting to me, like a very interesting concept, being that I'm a major DeFi guy. And talk to the team, and I got an offer, and I said no. I know it's crazy that sounds. I said no, I think I'm good. I'm gonna stay where I'm at. But like, it was just in the back of my head constantly of like, there really should be a change in DeFi. There really should be something interesting on there. So like a couple months later, I'm like, is that spot still open? Hopefully it was. Crossing my fingers, and it was, and it worked out. And here we are. And like, I got to meet a lot of the team, and Will like was like such a really cool guy. Like engineering teams, they don't really get a lot of highlight, right? Like it's always they're the guys in the shadows. Like he's in shadow right now in the video stream. He's in the shadow writing code and deploying code. And then you see like a lot of the marketing guys or some BD guys that come out, kind of take the stage and kind of spill it out here. But it's a lot of work behind the scenes. Like this V1 app that has been launched, like with the engineering team, it's been a grind getting there, with a lot of the dog fooding, testing everything out, working on all the bugs. That's kind of the stuff you don't see. Like you see the athletes shoot the basket, but you don't see them shooting like 1,000 times right before game time. So I would love to highlight that on there, Will. So definitely glad to have you on the stream. And actually, Will will be joining me a lot on the DeFi series. We'll be talking about a lot of that stuff. So I think we mesh pretty well back and forth on there. So I think it'll be a fun series on there. But take it away, Will. Like, tell us like what the experience was behind the V1. What was the thought process? And then eventually we'll get into it, right? We launch it. We're going to show you how to use it for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the funniest things about it is we launched the beta app, and very quickly we realized, man, this thing is just boring as shit. Like you can come in and you can deposit into a vault, and congratulations, you've now done 100% of everything there is to do on the app. So, like if you get some more money, cool, we'll see you again. But until that, there was nothing else to do. And so we really wanted to change that and make something that was like your daily home for DeFi, the place that you could go to take care of all of your DeFi needs. And that was the thought process there. So we're like, okay, what features do we want to embrace here? What are the common tasks that a DeFi user needs access to. And we started trying to build that into it and structure it in a way that makes sense from the perspective of someone who uses DeFi as part of their portfolio. Because so many of the other apps, you go into them and you have to go through 5 different apps to do your thing, or you log into something and it's for like your Uber degen nerds, that are doing like microtransactions with sub-second latency, or whatever they're into. And so there was not this like happy middle ground where people could just like check on their portfolio and get the information they need to make good long-term financial decisions. And so that was the thought process. And then we're setting it up in a way so that with the next few iterations of it that you're going to see, it's going to be pretty opinionated and say, hey, here's what you've got. Here's what may make sense for you, and just sort of guide you along that path so that your options are very, very clear to you. And then you can make a decision on which of those options you want to pursue within the same app, and feel confident about what you're seeing, what you're looking at, and what your next step should be.
Absolutely. I love that we can have everything all in one, because I would say the beginning of year 2025 up to like maybe August, my Friday ritual was, let me spend an hour and then claim all my rewards on different apps, move my positions, do that. So literally it took an hour a week for me to do that. And sometimes I would forget, and I'd probably use like DBank or something. Like, what positions am I forgetting about? Oh yeah, that's that one. So I would have it written down, because there'd be like new opportunities, new things that I would discover. And then I'd forget about the old ones or do something, or say, oh, I forgot to vote on this emission reward, so I have to reclaim that other reward. So it became a whole thing of like, I just got used to it. And like when I was telling people like, this is how you do it, they're like, why? So like it became this whole thing of like, this V1 makes it way easier for you to like just do it all in once. Like when I was testing it, I'm like, I love the ability to claim everything on that single just claim page, right? Like all my Merkle rewards, all my Morpho rewards, all in that single spot. So that was really, really nice to just get it all together and like put something to do. And yeah, you were right about like the initial like cat, page. Once I deposit, I'm like, well, what else is there to do? And then me as a dev, I'm like, God, now what am I supposed to sell these people?
Right.
What am I supposed to do as a dev? Or like, as a dev, this is what you can do on top of them. Like, how am I supposed to sell this? Especially when the volume is what really supports the cat system, right? So
Yeah.
what we need to do is to get more things moving and kind of see like, well, I keep saying this flywheel, and I'll get really detailed in the flywheel system in the DeFi series. But like basically once the water starts running and the windmill keeps going, it just self-propels, and it just keeps growing and growing. And so this was kind of like the first step of like moving towards this flywheel of like having multiple things happen at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's also like a trust and education component to the new app as well, because to be successful in DeFi, and this is not just Katana specific, this is for DeFi in general, we have to expand out to people who aren't currently in DeFi if we're going to continue to grow. And so you're talking about people's money here. So first of all, you've got to educate them on what DeFi is without saying, oh, here's this white paper, go spend a half hour reading that, or letting them figure it out on their own. But then like the whole thing of having everything just in the Katana web app I think it gives a sense of trust there, because when you bring someone new in and you're like, okay, you're going to go to this site to claim your rewards, you're going to go to this site to manage your lending and borrowing, and then you go to this site for whatever else, like it's very confusing to them, and doesn't provide like a sense of trust that you've got them covered. But if you can do it all within the same app, it's one less barrier that you have to overcome.
100%. I agree with that. Like like heartfelt. I think I'm too into the trenches that I'm not putting my head up and realizing like when someone first comes in this way, it just sucks, and it's very scary. DeFi is scary in general. Like I learned DeFi in DeFi summer. I learned it on Polygon actually, and so like the transactions weren't as scary, but like what are AM tokens? Like that blew my mind. Where I was like, okay, wait, I have dollars, right? I have USDT. What are these AM tokens? And what is this going on? And like, how do I make more money on Curve? Like, how did this work? So I literally took a lot of risks with my money. There's moments of like where I deposit stuff and I kind of held my breath. I was like, did I get that back or did I just lose a ton of money? Right? Those are the kind of situations that you're in that we kind of tend to forget, but those were the initial first steps of anybody in DeFi. So being able to simplify that, like, hey, this is where it is. All you have to do is like this click, it's going to go here. You're going to earn this much. And then when you want to exit, you can exit. That is going to be night and day for a lot of people. And especially I think with this NFT project of like understanding like, hey, there's an opportunity for me to earn yield on NFTs. What can I do with my idle assets, right? With my USDC, USDT, wrap Bitcoin, what can I do with it, right? Instead of just working 40 hours a week, buying more tokens and then seeing it go up and down and hopefully not too much down where you're like, oh man, I just lost a lot of money. Using those assets to earn more money so you can take more risks on certain things and earn more money, right? Like the ultimate way of like, I like money, man. Like I think that's the whole reason of DeFi, right? We're all here because we kind of like the money and we like DeFi because it makes us more money with our money. So I mean, what better way to like see these opportunities in a single app instead of searching for hours? Because I would be looking at DeFi Llama, it's like, where's the best APY? What are the best strategies? And then when you find it, you can't really share it because you're going to dilute yourself too. And so you're like, okay, well, I found it, but I can't tell my friends on there. So, it becomes like this whole PvP on there for the most yield. And I think with Katana, you don't have to do it as much because the way the flywheel works, it kind of incentivizes people to like share this information and then make it more easier for people to just get started on there.
Yeah, absolutely. The more people that are participating, the more people that are earning, and that just generates more revenue for the chain that then goes back to the people who are using the chain. So it's funny because it sounds almost like one of the multi-level marketing things, but it's really not, like ours is it's very clear what the flywheel does and how it works. And it's not multi-level marketing, but just whenever we talk about like the more people that participate, the more people that win, it reminds me of MLM and possibly because like one of my early startups was an MLM company.
Well, I mean, I think we're all a little bit traumatized, right? We had the what is it, Luna UST that was offering 20% APY. So right there off the top, like if you were there in that era, anything higher than 10% APY felt like it was a scam, right? Like people have always tried to do these crazy APYs and they never last. And so you're like, okay, you got to get in and you got to get out quick, right? You got to exit quickly on there. And so I think that was what the hardest part of this whole thing for Katana is going to be like, hey, we're not like that. That's going to be the hardest part of like explaining that. Like a lot of people, oh, I'm going to get in, I'm going to get out. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people farming right now off the original ones. Like, okay, as soon as it unlocks, I'm going to exit. And ideally, hopefully, we're going to show you why you shouldn't exit so fast, right? Like everybody has their own way of doing, or they have their own plans for that. But there's also these cool new things that we're going to be adding on top of that. That's going to make sure that it like makes sense to actually hold on to some of that cat, So don't exit right away. But like, there's going to be a lot of reasons why. There's to put it into VCAT and do all this. So there's like a whole exponential kind of system on here to make more money, and that's going to be in the DeFi series. I don't want to like overcomplicate this thing. We want to showcase the V1 app. We want to see how easy it is, right? If you have some funds that you are sitting on and you don't really want to be watching the screen during the Christmas holidays and you're spending time with your family, you just want to put it in an easy place to earn some yield and then come back next year and be like, look what I earned. This is the place to be, right? This is where you want to be. Will's going to show us. I even have a brand new wallet that's never touched Katana that will show you exactly how to do stuff in there as well. I'm not sure if Will's going to do that either, but either way, we'll have a backup on there. But I'm going to just let Will do his thing.
Yeah, for sure. I think from a like talking about people who are just currently farming it now, and they'll pull out as soon as the token goes live. And so part of our job is to show people why sticking around is going to be better. That was one of the exciting things about getting this app out the door, because we've been, from an engineering perspective, I feel like we've been too quiet for the last few months. And now, of course, you can see why. Like building this from the ground up was a huge effort, and we've just been heads down on it. But the way that we've built it, one of the things I'm really excited about now is like every week you should be seeing something new drop out into the app. and so it's just going to be this continuous iteration of feature after feature after feature. And the next few months for sure are just going to be packed with some super cool stuff.
If you caught the last week's community stream, like January is going to be intense. There's a lot of stuff happening in January. It's like there's going to be like every week there's going to be an announcement. There doesn't need to be an announcement of an announcement. It's just going to be the announcements of like, just shut up already. Just let me see it, And
Right.
so there's a lot going on for January. So like I'm working all the way to Christmas Eve, to be honest. Like I'm like there's so many things for me to do and take care of before that I'll be working into the eve, and then when the holidays come, spend a little time, and then back to the grind, because there's a lot to do in January. So I don't mind it. I actually do like the grind. I kind of do like the startup life. So like it's just part of my flow of like, if I'm not busy, then I'm just wasting time. So I just stay busy, so I feel like I'm productive in a sense. But yeah. And those comments are hilarious, guys. Like, I don't know if you're bots or not, but yeah. I read them. I'm not going to share them, but they're funny.
Yeah, it's I agree with you. Like, the reason I've been able to do startups for this long is because I have no social life and no hobbies. So like just doing this is my hobby. But I did try, I'm taking it easy on the engineering team this week, giving them a chance to rest and recover a little bit because they worked hard on this. And then January 1, like it's picking up again. Will we go?
And if you guys in the community have actually any legit questions, I'm not going to show you what the comment says, but like if you guys actually have like any questions or anything about the V1, feel free to actually comment. We'll post it up and discuss it on there. But until then, let's get into the V1.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, never mind. I was going to make a comment about one of the comments, but I'll let that one go.
I know, I'm trying to keep it like family friendly.
Right? Yeah. It's like, man, you can't troll me like that, because I'm going to get sidetracked and then say something that I shouldn't say.
Yeah.
So let's start with like here's the entry point to the new Katana app, the Discover page. And so what we've got here is here's like just some views of like the top trading tokens, the top earning tokens, trending tokens, kind of giving you like a pulse of what's going on in the environment just right on your dashboard. But there's also some actions you can take, like, right now I can claim my $2.99 of rewards. And then this one is super important. 54% of my assets are sitting idle. So right away, I know that there's something else I can be doing here to earn more money. And then this is a very token oriented view, but here's like a complete list of the tokens. And so you can sort this by volume, by market cap, by 24-hour price, whatever you want to do. Or you can, you can search in there and find a specific token. One of the cool things that we're doing here is, if you're not familiar with the concept of the vault bridge, some of the assets on chain, when you bridge them into Katana, the original asset stays on Ethereum and you get a vault bridge representation of it on Katana. And the reason we do that is because this bridged asset is actually off earning yield on L1 or on Ethereum. So you're able to play with it and use it here in Katana, but at the same time, your original asset is in a very conservative strategy on Ethereum, earning yield that then comes back into the chain as chain-owned liquidity. So we've also got over here, this swap modal or swap window, you'll see that consistent throughout all the screens of the app. And I feel like it's pretty straightforward. You pick what you have and what you want to swap it for. And actually, I'm going to pick USDC because the math is easier. So if I want to do 10 USDC, it's going to go off and fetch me a quote. And then I can actually execute that swap from here. And this is all of the icons here. You can see this one has the little Katana logo. This one has a Katana logo. So that's an on-chain swap. But we can pull up my other assets as well from other chains and swap those into Katana right here as well.
So
and then
it's actually a bridge too. So like,
yeah,
if you've never used Katana before, you can actually use this swapper to get right onto Katana as well. And we'll cover that in a little bit.
Yeah. taking a look at my portfolio here. So we've got the top view here is my wallet plus what I'm earning. So if we want to break that down a little bit, like here is my wallet, what's sitting in here, and then here are my deposits into vaults. That's what's shown in that top graph up there. And then you get the historical view here. You can break it down by hour, day, week, month, or all time, whatever you want. Soon we'll be adding your Morpho and Sushi holdings onto the graph as well. So you'll get a complete picture going on there. And again, we've got that same repeating banner here. 54% of my assets are idle. I can claim my rewards from here. And then one of the cool things that we've done here, I think it's cool anyways, is all of my assets in my wallet, we've tagged them. These are sitting idle, dude. Like you could be making money with this, but no, you're just letting it sit in your wallet. And so over here is the badge, and you can click that and it fires up the dialogue for you to tell you how to put that asset to work.
So essentially, like if you basically it's a one-click deposit, right? Like if you have assets sitting on some other chain and now you click, it's like I have some ETH, I want to earn some yield on it. You click it, it's going to bridge it over from wherever chain it is into the actual Katana network, and then it's going to deposit for you and start earning yield right off the top without having to do anything else other than the interface.
Yep, for sure. And this is in my wallet. So these are all Katana assets. So it's super easy to deposit those from right here. If we go down a little bit more, here's my assets that are sitting on other chains. And so we've got the same call to action here. Bring that into Katana and let's put it to work. And then we're also showing your Morpho holdings here. So I've got 23 YVVB USD I'm using as collateral on Morpho. And then against that, I borrowed 10 USDC or USDT. So I can tell that that's what's going on from here as well, which is, I know a lot of people are into looping, and so there was not really a great way to see which assets you have looped, which can become really time sensitive and important in certain scenarios. So we put those here for you. And same thing for Sushi. You can tell which pools I'm active in here. And then I think this is one of my favorite features. This should almost count as an Easter egg, but I've got 43 cat here. Two things on it. One, if I hover over the pencil here, I can actually change what I think the value of cat is going to be, and that will update all of the calculations on the page here. So if I'm, feeling bullish or feeling bearish, I can adjust my expectations here and see how that impacts my total portfolio. The other thing that I really like, because cat has been, it's definitely a part of our ecosystem, but we haven't really talked about it enough, I don't think. And it's going to become important here in the next few months. So let me do that again and show you what I did. I just clicked on the cat icon here, and it takes you to a cat page. So it tells you how to earn, why cat has value, talks about the liquidity and the governance, buybacks, distributions, ecosystem revenue. So it's just kind of like an explainer page here of everything about cat. And then it's starting to set the stage here for post TGE and introduce you to VCAT and AVCAT, and then VCAT locked and VCAT unlocked.
This is something I'm going to be covering in great detail in the DeFi series. This is overly an overview, so like don't feel lost or like confused with it. Cat has not been unlocked yet. That will probably happen in February. Last day would be the 20th. It could happen before that, but the ultimate last day would be February 20th on there. And then we'll definitely be covering about this in detail, probably with Alex, which is kind of the tokenomics creator for Cat. So we'll definitely have him on the show and kind of just go through like how cat works, how VCAT works, how AVCAT works, unlocking, locking, the whole deal behind all that. Keep going.
Yeah, for sure. We're definitely trying to unlock it as early as possible, but I'm not sure how many people know this, but on February 20th, it's coded into the contract that it unlocks regardless. So even if we didn't want it to, this thing will unlock on the 20th.
And really quick, as we're going there, yeah, I see all the comments. So basically, the swap doesn't recognize prices from other chains, so it doesn't see the value of what it is on another chain on there. So if I'm assuming that's coming in from Arbitrum, and then I'm bringing into to Katana, it's not recognizing the price of ETH, what it is on Arbitrum, is what I'm guessing. Is that right, Elias? And I'll give him a second to answer on that. Just keep going. Well, see if
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure. Taking a look at the earn section here. These are all of the different vaults that are currently available on there. There's a how it works section here. So if you want to get like a little primer on how our vaults work and why you would be interested in that, you can get that there. This is a listing of all of the vaults that are there. If we click on your positions, it will update to show the vaults that I'm participating in. And then when you click on a specific vault, then it's going to show you, all that you could ever want to know about this vault. It shows you what I'm holding in it. It shows you the different strategies that are making up this vault. And then this is a really subtle feature, but let me actually go back to the earn page here and go to USDC vault. And then over here in a swap window, we picked up the fact, hey, he's already holding USDC. So let's pre-populate the swap window so that he can just go ahead and max out right there. And that's super subtle, but I thought it was like a cool little feature.
I think the strategy on that page is super important too. And again, it's going to go into the DeFi series of like how much risk you are putting your money in. And this is something I'm going to go really into detail of, like when you put your money in a vault, or when you drop your money in like an Aave or Compound or Morpho, a lot of people don't realize what they're exposed to, right? Like most people are like, oh, I just put it in and it's covered. But different APYs give you different strategies, giving different exposure to certain things. And so if you don't know what that is, you're kind of like blindly just putting your money in, hoping for the best. And then you see on the timeline, something's happened or something's depegged, and you didn't realize you were exposed to that. Here, seeing the strategy, you know exactly what you're exposed to. And then when we do the DeFi series, you're going to know exactly what all this means. But being able to see like, okay, these are the risks that I'm involved with when I put my money into this specific vault, tells me exactly like how comfortable I feel. How well do I sleep at night? And I'm a very paranoid investor. I'll tell you that right now. Like I don't really do much outside of blue chips. And so I'm always looking at, okay, where's my exposure? What is, and then I have to hunt for that sometimes. And so I'm like, okay, well, what's this? What's that? And I like the way Morpho did it. And then having this in the actual website is huge. So I'm like, okay, this is good. And by the way, these are all actually pretty chill vaults. There's nothing too crazy out there. So I actually have my own money in these vaults. So, if you believe in my system, it's, again, not financial advice or anything, but like if you have the same paranoia as I do, you'll feel okay depositing onto these vaults for sure.
Yeah, I think another key component to this too is understanding like whose name is listed here, like Gauntlet, Steakhouse, Steer, because there's you have to have a certain amount of trust in the curators of these vaults. And so just exposing it right here, you can see right away, oh yeah, this is someone that I'm comfortable working with or not.
Absolutely. Like as I think as the bear market comes, there's always a filtering system. There's always new up and comers, and sometimes they do great. And then some people kind of just follow the APY, right? Oh, this, 15% APY on my USDC is way better than this 5% APY. Well, there's a reason for that, right? Like, there's more risk involved. And sometimes they take way, way bigger risk. And so like your name, the way it stands out in this space, it carries more value than actual what you can return, because it's the trust. And if you have no trust, then no one's going to deposit in your vault, honestly. So sometimes APYs are great, but you want to have a good solid name where you can put your money in. And again, nothing is perfect in the space. And as we've learned in DeFi, it's always some form of risk. Nothing is free. But if you go with way more vetted, trusted kind of curators and contracts and names, I sleep a little bit better at night, not worrying that, hey, 2 or 3 in the morning with the sweats, do I still have my balance, right? So that's always my concern.
For sure. Yeah. And we've labeled each of the vaults here with a risk strategy. So everything here we have right now is conservative. As we continue to add more vaults to the platform, you'll see other higher risk vaults in there, but that's something you can count on being there, so that when you're clicking on a vault, you've kind of, you've been predispositioned as to what the strategy is going to look like based on this rating right here.
Absolutely. And as if you go into the vaults themselves, like, okay, let's say we have this conservative vault, and then let's say we have a high risk vault. You, as someone that's trying to learn DeFi, can just compare the two. It's like, well, why is this one conservative? Why is this one high risk? Right. So as the app starts evolving and more vaults and more strategies start getting deployed, you can learn the difference of like, why is this particularly scary? You can ask in the Discord, right? The community managers are there to help you. You could tag us. I don't know if they can tag you. Well, I'm not sure. You're a busy guy, so maybe you could tag me. But you could see like, what's the difference between this two? What, I can't tell you what's safe or not safe in certain aspects. Like, your risk levels are very different than what my risk levels are for certain things. Maybe you have more disposable income than me that has, better risk reward ratios, but being able to see the difference and spot the differences over time, the app is a great place to learn, right? Like if you just want to be like, hey, I want something solid. Some people want to set and forget for a long time. They want a very low conservative one. Some people want more money in a short amount of time. They're willing to take more risk. You can see the differences between the strategies. And so hopefully in the future, like community content people will be using this app as a reference of like discerning between the two.
Yeah, for sure. Like we can't tell you what to invest in, but we can tell you what the criteria was to determine what the risk level for that asset was. And for sure, tag me. Like sometimes I'm slow to respond. I won't lie to you on that, but I will respond.
Just tag me better. Yeah. And if I can't answer, then I'll reach Will and then he'll respond and it'll trickle down. But yeah, like engineering it's such a high priority thing of like things need to be monitored. Like I've always think like maybe as a founder, maybe I would do my own vaults and stuff. And I'm like, man, if it got to a really, really big number, I would always be paranoid all the time, constantly like, man, there's $20 million in this contract. And I'm always just like, I lose sleep. So like, it's not for me.
Yeah. Right. I'm with you on that one. This, I totally skipped over the activity tab here, but I'm super proud of the work that the team did here, because like when you look at a lot of blockchain activity screens, you can look at the transactions there and they're hard. It's hard to understand what that is actually telling you, because a lot of times it'll be like, you authorize this contract and then it gives you the contract address and you're like, well, that's kind of meaningless because I didn't memorize every contract I've interacted with. So we put a lot of effort into making this like a human readable activity screen. So this one, 5 USDC deposited into the USDC vault. Like that's pretty straightforward of what I did. Here I sent USOL to an address that was to one of my other wallets. And here I minted some YVVB USDT, so, and then it's broken down by month as well. But I'm really happy with the way that this turned out, so that when you look at your activity screen, hopefully there's enough detail here to actually remind you of what you actually did versus just looking at some block explorer style transaction that you can't really relate to real world activity. And then tax time, you can just come here and download the CSV, and hopefully that will make it easier to take care of your taxes for the year or for whatever other accounting purposes that you need.
My accountant will gleefully joy with this because I'm making moves on the weekly and it's rough. I mean, there's whole dApps that are building like English versions of the Block Explorer. Yeah. And we built it into the V1 dApp, right? Like it's crazy. Like it's like, yeah, we did that. Right. And then having the ability to do tax season within there is like, it's such a huge pain in the, I don't know if I can say, I don't know, like, because I'm on the Katana stream, but like, it's a huge pain, like in order to do that. And so like every like quarter I have to go in and do the numbers and like, what did I do? What did I miss? Oh, what was that transaction? Then I have to go decode it on either scan and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I did this. I remember that. And this was the value at that given time. And that's probably the biggest pain that I've ever had. So being able to have a CSV and then maybe have some AI clean it up for me would be like a super, super tool. So like if you are a developer in the space and I just gave you a cool hackathon idea of like what to do with your AI agent. So there you go. A tax completion with an English-based type of transaction on the Katana V1 app. So there we go. I'm not even going to charge for that one.
For sure. I think you're more optimistic than I am, because I'm not sure my accountant will be happy about this. He'll definitely be less pissed off, but I don't know that happy is going to be the right word I can use.
Absolutely. Well, for what he charges me, he's pretty happy.
Right. All right. So I'm going to do a little sneak preview here. Looking at the time. I think my product guy's probably asleep right now, so we're just doing this. Staking. This is a work in progress, but this is coming soon. You'll be able to manage all of your cat staking here. You can set up your voting and then manage the rewards that you're getting from your staking. And then questing is coming soon. Yeah, checking which wallet. Yeah, so you've got the ability to earn badges and earn XP. So you'll have a streak here. You can take a look at the rewards that you're earning. And then there's different actions that you can take within the questing environment to earn more XP and then see how you compare on the leaderboard. And it's really important to know that like questing here is not just it's not just like a way to collect fake internet points. Like there's actual thought process behind this. Like this is our educational component. So by completing the quests here, you're actually building your own DeFi skill set and learning more about DeFi and how to better use it in your own financial decisions. So just a little sneak preview there.
This is alpha, guys, because if you go to the website right now, those pages do not exist on the actual website. When we show me depositing some money somewhere like that will be like coming soon. So I mean, there's a million kind of certification systems on there, but like being able to check saying, hey, this person has deposited some liquidity, created an LP position, has done some activity on Katana, that always have some measures, because you talk to a lot of people in the space that haven't even used blockchain at all. So being able to say, yeah, that's me. These are my rewards. I'm familiar with DeFi. You don't have to be a DeFi expert, but just like, hey, I've learned that. And then with the DeFi series on top of it, being able to do those quests, I hope I teach it in a way that makes sense, right? If not, you could always say, hey, this was horrible. I didn't learn anything. I'm like, okay, it's time to go back to the drawing board, look at myself in the mirror and be like, damn, I got to analyze myself. But hopefully like it's something that you can also use as a flex, right? Like there's a ton of opportunities in DeFi for vault managers, for people that understand like specific niche of DeFi in this crazy crypto space. So being able to prove that without just your word of mouth is always something that has value, right? Not trying to say this is the official like course of DeFi, but being able to have someone reference it or look at it or being able to flex that is definitely something that is of high value on here. Did you have anything else to show, Will, or should I just get right into depositing?
Let's go for the live demo. Let's see if the demo gods are on our side. But that was just kind of an overview of what we built into V1 and the thought process behind it.
Awesome. I am going to go ahead and show my entire screen here. Let's just hope that it is the right screen. There we go. So this is the app right here. This is a brand new wallet. So you see that I have no assets on Katana whatsoever on here. So first and foremost, the number one thing that I have to make sure to tell everybody is you need ETH. You need ETH on Katana in order to do so, because I know people will ape in. It's like, what? USDC 40% APY? Let me just throw my USDC there. If you don't have a little gas on the chain, then you're going to get stuck. And then you're going to be like, hey, Katana sucks. They stole my money. I can't get it out. They have me on a lock timer or something. I was like, no, man, you just need some ETH. But make sure you always drop a little ETH before you do any transactions on there. You can do it through the main bridge. You can do it through the swap bridge, however you need. So I'm going to do that right now. I have some ETH on mainnet. So if you click on it, you can go to all networks, but it's going to detect the assets that I have. So I have a few bucks on mainnet. I'm going to bridge that over to Katana right now and then get that going here. So I'm just going to do 0.01. It's going to give me my quote. And so we are going from mainnet to Katana, like literally right now. So let's go ahead and swap it. Boom.
And while that's happening, I will say that we are working on a gasless experience. So you won't need ETH on Katana forever. There is a day in the future where we'll be able to use any token that you have as gas.
I'm a mixture of the two. While this is depositing and bridging, you'll see the transaction. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger too. I'm a bit of a punk of like, you know, I don't always trust relayers because I just want to be in full control of everything. So both options are nice, right?
Yeah.
Like being able to do so. I'm just more of like, I don't want to trust the relayer, which are totally fine. Relayers work like all these, I want to say X4 too. I'm thinking of payments, but was it the 44 or something? So many EAPs, I forget the number for the relaying system, but yeah, they work. Like a Privy is a really big one, right? Privy is one that like you can just use your email and have that as a relayer on there. So when I'm saying relayers, basically someone else is paying the gas for your wallet on there. So either way works. I'm just a little bit more punk, so I like to own my EOA and do stuff. So I have now successfully put my ETH on Katana. I can do whatever I want on Katana now. So I should have my ETH ready to go. So make sure, I don't want to see any tickets on the Discord. I know we're going to see them anyway, but I'm just trying to do this right now. Like, I don't have any ETH on Katana. It's like, I told you, here's the video.
Right.
Here you go. So let's just see, like here on my idle assets, I just put some money in. So it's not seeing it right now, but I'm going to hit earn. It's going to see what I have on my list. So I have some USDT on mainnet. I have some USDC on Arbitrum. I'm going to do both, right? I'm just going to go ahead and grab that USDT from mainnet. I'm going to max it out, and I want to put it in the USDT vault, right? And this is going to basically bridge it over and deposit it right into the vaults right here. And let me just go ahead and deposit that. And now during the holiday break, when I am, and this is the Rabby wallet, basically I've never interacted with this wallet on this page before. So it's going to give me a warning saying, hey, you know, be careful with this site. You've never done it before. I trust it. This is the V1 site. This is app.katana.network. So we're good. We're good. And I'm just going to bridge it over. It's going to go ahead and swap it in, and then it's going to deposit for me on there. So you're going to see these YVVB USDT. So just for those that are not in the know, and this is going to be covered in the DeFi series, it's not a native USDT. It's going to be Vault Bridge USDT because they are earning yield on the layer 1. And then it's also being deposited into the Yearn vaults. So that's why we have Yearn Vault YV and then Vault Bridge VB USDT. So that way, those acronyms of ABCD YSDC, you know, token name that's kind of the process behind it. There's all these different like labels on there. I know that's scary for anybody in that's starting in DeFi, like all these different labels. It is USDT. It's just a deposited USDT. And then how much ETH is needed is super cheap. Will, like how cheap is the transactions on here on Katana?
Oh, you know what? Let me just break out some facts for you here.
Okay.
The average cost per transaction for the month of November was 3 cents. The median cost was 0.001 cents. So they're super cheap, you know, and then of course the cost depends upon the complexity of the transaction, but with that median cost, the median transaction cost being 0.001 cents, like that's pretty inexpensive.
Yep. So this one's still loading on here. We're going to let that keep going on here. And let me see if I can grab that. Yeah. And then Dempsey saying thank you for the answer on that one for sure. And then let me go ahead and grab that USDC. So if I see this USDC, or actually my idle assets, I'm going to go into my USDC on Arbitrum. So really depending on where you are, what chain, like as it sees the assets, what chains are actually being supported? Do you know that, Will? Like which chains currently can people bridge in easily?
Easily is Ethereum, Base, Arbitrum, and there's a few other. You stumped me with that question.
Oh. I'll look really quick on here. I think there was, I'll switch it over to another wallet right now as this is going to see exactly what chains I have. So those transaction have completed on here. So you see that I have transaction 0 and they're completed and it is loading on here. So as this is going, let me look at my portfolio and then we'll look at what assets on here. So you see that my money is slowly coming into my portfolio. I have my idle ETH and I have my USDC vault earning right here, this rate. And this rate is like magical here. Right now it is, you can actually, when you roll over, you can see exactly where that yield is coming from. That's the #1 comment from everybody. Where does the yield come from, right? Like where does this actual money come from? Well, we have the native APY, which is about 3%. So you're getting that straight USDC. Then we have the cat base rewards, which is highly incentivizing everybody to just come in and deposit and explore Katana. And then you have the actual in-app rewards that have Katana rewards too. So they're throwing that on top of you. And if you were an early depositor way back when, I think was at the crate time in a sense, like way back when, then
Yeah.
you would actually be earning an additional 6.8% on top of that as well. And for a short time before, I think it was like a week and some ago, you were also earning some Vault Bridge rewards on some native stake on there too. So I have a couple of screenshots from there too. Those may come back, those may change. You know, that that yield that you're earning on Vault Bridge may get rewarded. They could be get rewarded somewhere else too. So it depends on where you are in the app stage of where those funds get distributed in a sense. But yeah, you can see that my portfolio has this earning this right now. So it was pretty straightforward, pretty like in there. I went from Arbitrum to Katana. If I had a couple other locations, I can check my activity tab too to see what's happening of what's happening. So it's still kind of updating here of all the transactions. And then I am hiding span. So that'll take a little while to index on there as well. Let me check another one of my wallets that I was doing some testing with so you can see a little bit of a better view. But that's pretty much it. Like it was pretty straightforward on there of like what you discover, what you have. This is another wallet I was using on here. So it sees how much I'm earning, where my idle assets are in different chains. So if I earn here, let me drop the options of all networks. Has Ethereum, Base, Arbitrum, Polygon, and BNB Smart Chain on here. So if you have assets on there that you want to earn yield, they're sitting around doing nothing. Earn some yield for the holidays, right? Like just see what happens, write it out till February 20th, see what you get. If it's doing nothing, do something. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what I have. That's what I'm thinking on here. And then on my portfolio, you can see I've had like a whole bunch of different things on here. Like let me go here and see that I was moving stuff back and forth with USDC, wrapped ETH, Lombard BTC, which is a yield bearing BTC. Especially with the market going down, I like to dollar cost average into Bitcoin. But instead of putting in a market, I want to just let it earn yield natively. So I use Lombard BTC. If I do want to do leverage on wrap BTC, I can on there. And then I have the ETH, USDT, and I bought a little bit of USOL too. Just get a little exposure to that as well. And then you see that the vaults that I'm earning stuff on the AUSD, wrapped ETH, and then USDT. I just have a few cents on there left on there, but I was moving stuff back and forth in our testing phase. So it lets you know where you're at. And it's really that easy. Like literally just click it. If it's another chain, you don't have to bridge it and do all these other steps. Literally sees it on the other chain, bridges it over, deposits it for you, and then you're kind of just done. And that's it. You can just see like your money grow and you'll see the activity that I had on there and happen. And then I have a few rewards here, right? Like I have some Merkle rewards, some cat rewards. If I had some LP rewards or anything, it's just a one button claim, right? I just click it, claim it, and say, oh, here we go. I have a little bit of USDC, have a little bit of cat, switch that over on my wallet, and then I just claim my rewards, and then I profit, right? And then my accountant says, why? Ultimately.
Right.
Yeah. But that's it. Like it's that simple. Like there's nothing else you have to do. There's nothing that you have to like juggle or anything. It's all made very simple for you to have the bridging, depositing all there on there. If you have funds on those chains and you just want to do something, or you know, has one of like killer rates, like I mean, like I don't understand why anybody would not take advantage of it, other than maybe the token won't be liquid until latest February 20th. But then if you are willing to wait couple, like what is it, 60 days on it,
Yeah.
I wasn't going to do with a lot of some of the funds anyway. It was just going to sit there as the market kind of finds itself. I'm just earning yield. I have a position doing that, so it's definitely something that you should consider. You can see where the yield comes from. If you have more doubts about where the yield come from, definitely message me. That will get a lot clearer with the DeFi series coming soon. And so you understand like why it works, how it works, and why Katana is looking to do things slightly different. It's similar but different in a sense. I don't know if that's a good phrase, but that's the best I can come up with on the fly. Yeah.
Marketing guys will kill you for that one.
Yeah. I know, they're like, hey, get my DMs are blowing up already.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean that was pretty much it, right? That's a V1. That's what's happening soon, right? Once Cat goes live, you'll be able to see the staking. There's going to be more quests. There's going to be more things to do for people that are curious about DeFi. I think that's the number one thing that I'm excited for, is like quests of like learning what to do. Sometimes you walk into a store and you're like, I don't know where to start because it's just so overwhelming. Well, here's a pathway of like where to go, and then line that up with the DeFi series, line that up with like the Ruby scores, line that up with everything that's happening in January. And I feel like you're going to get your DeFi chops in a much better spot on there, to be honest. That's my own opinion. I wish I had this in DeFi summer. I'll tell you that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, if you started today, like the next 60 days of what is going to be happening on Katana, like you're going to have serious DeFi skills with 60 days from now.
And quick question, coffee taster, I think how much liquidity will be added for cat pool? I don't know. I don't know the answer. I know there's going to be a lot. That's going to be my overall number of like a lot of things will go into cat. Cat is the basically the backbone of this entire structure of how the flywheel works. So it's not like we're just going to put $10 into it and let it ride, right? So you know, whether that's the launch price and depending on the market conditions, I could never tell you. I'm not, you know, if I did, I'd be like a millionaire. I'd be calling you from my jet, but like, hey, this is what the cat price is going to be. But yeah, I don't know. I just know that it'll be highly incentivized, and it'll definitely be something to watch out for as you know January comes around. But yeah, I think if we don't have any other questions, I'm going to give it just a little bit longer. If not, we can just start finishing it up. You know, seeing what will be coming up in January. We're definitely going to have our perp decks most likely being announced. We have the NFT project that is going to go ahead and be launched. I know we can't do any art, but we did give you teasers. Come January, there'll be more teasers, so watch out for more community streams like for the art and what's going to be happening there. And then cat token, that's going to be the biggest one, right? Like that's going to be the biggest launch on there. And then more improvements on the V1 if we have more problems. Like if you guys are experimenting with the V1 and you come into any problem, go ahead and drop those tickets on the Discord. And so, you know, that way we know we get better, right? Like if we get nothing, no news is good news, and good news is good news. And sometimes bad news is good news because you guys are using it, right? So that's the number one goal that we have is just you guys are earning yield. You guys are learning about DeFi. And then will there be a pre-market? I don't know. Will, do you know if there's going to be a pre-market for that for Cat?
I don't have a certain answer for that. I know that there's been discussions, but I don't know the final answer. Yeah,
that I don't know. Like I'd like to know too. To be honest. That'd be kind of interesting to see like if there's going to be a pre-market. I don't think if there was a pre-market, my personal opinion, and I could be totally wrong, is it would happen just close to launch, because any pre-market that happens way ahead of time, they get wrecked. I looked at every pre-market on every token that's happened like historically as a token analyzer, and if you do it ahead of time, it does okay, and then as it gets closer to launch, it just like gets wrecked. So especially in this market, I probably would not would not see something that would happen like that in that kind of space. So that's my personal. I have no alpha on that. I'm just speculating on my own personal experience and like watching the market on there. So hopefully that helps you in some kind of way. But yeah.
It's a really long way of saying I don't know.
Yeah. I'm trying to write that book where it pays me per word.
Right.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, I think there's no other questions. Thank you so much for coming on. And hopefully, if anything, Will at 0x Will Button is the Twitter or X following. I still call it Twitter. I'm not like that mom that still says like Nintendo, even though it's Xbox. I don't know. It just sounds like more natural to me. X doesn't sound natural, but definitely give Will a follow. Give me a follow, because if you are making content, if you are using the streams or anything, definitely give us a tag, because you will get engagement, right? If you tag us, and it's not AI slap, you will get engagement for this. So definitely reach out. Test out the V1, play around with it, put a few bucks in it, just start experimenting. When I was experimenting, I was doing it with like $50, $100 on there, and just kind of learning my chops. Don't go all in, throw your life savings in there. Just experiment, get your hands dirty with it, and then see how it feels. And again, if you have any problems, the Discord team is there to help you. You've met the community team. They are the guys that will be helping you get out of whatever you got into on there. And if you have any problems, we'll be behind the scenes on the bugs.
Yeah, for sure. Because we know that there are bugs there. So when you find them, just shout, and we'll take care of them.
Awesome. And on that note, guys, have a good holidays, whatever you celebrate, or if you just want to grind, keep grinding. There won't be a stream next week because of the holidays, and I don't think anybody's paying attention, to be honest. So we'll see how it goes. And then we'll catch you on the new year where we'll be doing the DeFi series. I'll be making sure to like put a lot of noise, and then more community content out here, meet more of the team, see who is actually building Katana and making Katana work, and then hopefully making it a full success on here, guys. So on that note, Have a good time, enjoy it, earn some yield, and enjoy the break, guys. Catch you later.
Yeah, see you, everyone.